We're up and about, getting ready for my first 2 days in a row, and I'm feeling pretty good. A little bit sore in the core, a little bit sore in the legs, but I popped an Advil. I've been popping Advil and Aleve and Tylenol on and off this whole trip. It's just I have some hip injuries, I have some body problems, and I'm spending way too much money to risk having a bad day. So I'm taking the L on the organs, but it's been really helping and it's going to allow me to do 2 days in a row here. The plan for today, get used to the medium bag, hopefully spin some cab on it, get some front tens going, and then just build up all the fundamentals I need, because the next days I'm going to be riding the mega bag. So I'm very stoked about that. Super big update. I've been a total fool. I've been buying the wrong airbag ticket each day, spending an extra $100 per day riding. What's just really hurts when I heard that, but they were so clutch and they gave me the full refund, got it stored for me. I had my friend go and help converse with them, and they refunded me no problem. I'm gonna use the second half of the day to build up some courage and drop and switch. Going into session 2, session 1 went decent. I used a little bit too much time trying some front 10 variations that didn't really pan out, and used a little bit too much energy in my hips, so now my hips feeling pretty weak. But I'll use that as a good opportunity to take a step back and focus on my back freeze and front freeze, just try to get those good takeoffs. I'm taking tomorrow off so we can really push it today. And we just want to get those fundamentals really solid because we'll be riding the bigger airbag the next days. So let's go and get back at it.
J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission is same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this is buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the grave. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Worry with the legs, all about finesse. I ain't not impressed. I don't need a rest. Coming in with blast, then you see the flags. Elohim with the melody, and they keep supply the bread. 70, keep it heavenly. Everybody get the bread. Hard act to follow and talk to the swallow, remind him of sentiment. This gift is a benefit, yeah, it's sentiment. Ever see me chillin', plotting on millions and counting these pennies? Just know I got him straight from him again. J like the letter, I'm making several waves. I know the mission is same. I made a splash, now all of my passes last like running a race with Usain. I keep it coming like this is buffet. And if I'm stumbling, I'm in the graves. Never gon' fumble it. I get the bag and I run with it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it, gunning it. Murray with the legs, all about finesse. I am not impressed. I don't need a rest. Coming in with less, then you see the flags. Elohim with the melody, and then he supply the bread. 70, keep it heavenly. Everybody get the bread.
I went and learned my first new double in 5 years, and it felt just like I imagined it, looked just like I imagined it would look, and it felt so good. I always thought, like, what's the point of learning cab dub 9? I can already do cab flat 10, and it's so much safer. But the point is, it's really freaking fun, and I just had such a fun time doing that trick. I did it so many times, I got to a point where I was like thinking about other stuff in the air, what you shouldn't do. but it was so cold. I was like feeling so awful, but got some sick back 12s, got some awesome cab dub 9s, and it ended up being one of the best nights I've had ever. This is such a good day. The cold just isn't even phasing me right now. That said, I think I have used every single muscle in my body to its maximum, and tomorrow I fear for the damages that await me, but it was a great day and I can't wait to get back out here and train again. I did 40 hits today, so we won't be going over all of them, but we're going to cover some of the main points from today, see what can be learned from it and where I can improve for next time. Starting with these front side 10s. My front 10s were sort of tilt thrown. I just found out that I've been overpaying for the airbag, accidentally paying an extra 100 Canadian each day. So like that's like an extra 220 American I was down. So that was in my head on every single one of these hits, and it made me sort of tilt throw my spins, and it caused me to get all of my old problems back. That's pre-spinning, opening up, and it's causing a lot of drift. But the main area it's coming from is my approach. I'm approaching too heavy on my toe edge, and that's making it so I have a lot of sideways momentum when coming up with the lip of a jump. When you come up to the jump with a bunch of sideways momentum, it's going to make it so you're skidding a bit, and that's going to make it so you need to go and use your upper body to counterbalance, not letting you be tall over top of your snowboard. And if you're going and having this position while trying to generate snap and throw, the thing that's going to happen is it's going to open your hips and it's going to make you go and start pre-spinning off the jump. So I'm going to need to go and really focus on using less toe pressure, a smaller setup carve, and then transitioning to the heels sooner. And that should let me stay more over the center of my snowboard. I'm also going to think about taking off a little bit off my toe edge. Not a bunch, but you can see that I'm really heavy on my heels here. So I'm going to try to set my weight from here over here, just trying to get it more like a hard way. And hopefully that will help me get a straighter takeoff and make these frontside spins better in the future. The next thing I did is I did my first cab spins on the big jump, and they went pretty decent. I managed to make a change that I'm really excited about, and that is grabbing a lot sooner. So normally when I do cab spins, I can't grab into like 450 when I'm doing like cab 9s because I yeet my body off the takeoff so hard. Here, I went and cut that yeet short, and that let me go and get the grab at 270, what's a really reasonable time to be grabbing, and hold it through the full duration. The problem with it is I went and scuffed my takeoff and really held this open takeoff position for a long period of time. You can see how angled I am on that takeoff. What happens when you're this angled, this fully thrown before leaving off the lip is you don't have much rotational momentum. And that's why when I'm spinning around, I'm spinning so slow and I'm hardly making it through the full 900, even though this airbag's big enough for 9s easily. So what I'm going to do to try fix this is delay this motion, delay my snap, and delay my timing. The most important part of this is, you might have guessed it, the transition. You can see I'm doing just like on my front side, a really aggressive toe transition, switching to my heels after going through the spoon of a jump. This is just giving me too much sideways momentum, making it really hard to stay tall over my board, causing the same leaned posture. And on this lean posture, it doesn't let you go and hold your arms as wound up, so when you throw, you're going to have a smaller range of motion. What isn't even my main issue? My main issue is this. I'm halfway through the jump, haven't thrown, but I've let my upper body tilt open towards the far corner, and that's really limiting my range of motion. So then as I snap, I'm going to go and have a very small kind of rotation motion to play with. So I need to go focus on staying more stacked over my board, more wound up with the body, and then delaying the snap so I can leave in a straighter line with more momentum being carried through the spin, and that should result in a cab 9 that comes around a lot easier, and then it should let me spin bigger tricks after that. Then moving into the nighttime, I went and got a few back 12s going, but I was a little bit too drifty here. And you don't want to be drifting this much when you're landing fakie, because it's going to make it so you have to really dig in that toe edge, and it's going to be harder to stomp it clean. So how I'm planning on fixing this is a couple things. First of all, I want to go and get my Setup carve, way less wide. So see how I'm really pushing the side of the airbag here? I want to try narrow this in closer to the center, that'll make it so I don't have as much distance to travel to my toe edge. I'm hoping that'll make it so I have less sideways momentum, and I'm just going to try to do the transfer a little bit sooner. I'm transferring sooner than I was when I first got here, but I think I could do it a little bit earlier, and that will just give me more time to get on my toes, combine that with less angle of approach, and hopefully it'll let me stay a little more stacked and tall, which should let me go and get rid of this last bit of drift. Because right now my head position's right here, but I want to try get it right over top of my snowboard, because that's just going to mean that my weight is completely set over top of the board. So then when I go and try muster this much power, I won't be going and throwing forward. Instead, I'll be throwing more down over my board, and that should eliminate this little bit of drift. Because you can see that my takeoff is pretty straight. If I had less toe pressure and less lean forward, with this rate of a takeoff, the drift wouldn't be a serious issue. So we're going to go and make that change. And now into the highlight of my night, and that is doing my cab underflip doubles. This is my first time learning a new double in 5 years, so I was extremely nervous. I almost talked myself out of trying it, but I was like, screw it, I'm all the way in Japan, I'm just going to give it a go. And my first attempt, I knew instantly that I was going to be okay as soon as I took off in the air, and that's because of the way I do it. Notice how my head is able to spot the landing of the airbag the whole time. This means that I can see where I'm going through the air, and if I can spot where I'm at, I'm not really scared doing a double, because it hardly feels like two flips, because instead you're feeling your vision just rotate with you, making it so it's way less scary than if you have to go blind 2 times. It's basically like a spin at that point. So the first one went good. I wouldn't have landed that one on snow because I was like surprised that it went so good. And then after that, I just started grinding it out. I did 10 of them, and this was the second last one, and I tried to mix up the grab, and watch what happens. I go and switch grabs halfway through, and it makes it so my body continues to rotate throughout the spin. So where I was able to hold it at 9 before, switching to that indie grab made it so my arm was leading the rotation, and that made it so my body wanted to keep spinning, and it was giving me too much spin for a flip. This is a problem on the Cab Dub 9, but it makes me feel like I could do it for the Cab Dub 10, and that's why I'm including it here. So next time I'm trying this trick, I'm going to go and try switch grabs and commit to pulling the shoulder all the way over, and that should work for the 1080, and that'd just be really cool to go and get a different 10 variation. And then moving on to the last one, we'll point out the problems and what I like about this trick for me right now. Because Cab Dub 9 I think is a relatively unsteezy trick, but the way I'm doing it with a stale fish, it ends up being really cool looking. And it doesn't take much power to get it around. Because you're thrusting with your hips and you're throwing your legs up by shooting your feet up and putting your hand into the grab, it actually really puts you in a good vortex that I honestly feel like I could add another flip to with a little bit more practice. The main issue I'm having here is I'm pre-spinning it a little bit and sliding, so I'm not popping fully off the tail. This means I'm going through the jump and not going very high. Would be a problem if I went to go try the triple, but that said, it was the first day doing it and it felt really good. Did 10 of them, and if you're doing 10 of a trick and landing them the majority of the time, you're in a good spot, and this actually gave me the confidence that I feel like I'll be able to go this winter and actually get this trick on snow. If I go and try this trick again, I'm just going to focus on being a little more patient with the wind-up, a little bit flatter transition, so the same training for all my cab spins will be used here, but this is a way less punishing for making mistakes, and that's just something cool about flip tricks in general, and why you see so many people doing like double 14 variations, and that's because when you start going and doing flips, you're flipping more over top of your board, and that's going to make it so even if you go and mess up, your weight's still set straight down, so you're not going to get drifting, and less drift just really makes tricks way easier. So this was one of the most successful days I've ever had. I'm so happy to learn a new double, and it really just makes my whole trip feel worth it. So I'd highly recommend, if you get the chance, come check out the airbags, because They can give you that little bit of extra urge to go and learn a trick that you didn't think you were going to have in you.